welcome to episode 19 of the Pop Shock podcast. Speaking of Pop Shock, I look like I've just put my finger in a socket and got a massive shock, and that's why my hair's like this. But no, it's just because I've not showered yet and I couldn't be bothered beforehand, so I'm going to shower after. It's a Sunday and I've got COVID. Leave me alone.
No, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Nobody's doubting your hair. It's gorgeous.
Thanks. Yeah, that's why I bring you on this show, to just feed
To
me ego.
boost your ego.
Because it needs a boost, because it's not big enough already. Because my God complex doesn't already mess up my everyday life. But anyway, yeah, I'm Dan, guy with the God complex and the host, and I'm joined by Chris.
Me.
Two-man show today.
Yes.
How you doing, Chris?
How we doing, Miss? Oh, I'm.
How you doing? How you doing, Miss Chris?
I was like, oh shit, I'm in detention now, Miss.
I'll call you whatever you want, mate.
Love it. No, I'm doing great. I have had a lovely kind of relaxation. I've been actually. Do you know what I've been doing the whole week? I know we're going to jump in, but I've actually been playing the Spider-Man game on PC, and it's took me back to my childhood. So I've really enjoyed the last 2 weeks. Quite excited.
Good.
That's really
Good.
what I've been doing.
Well, we'll get into that in a few minutes, because we're going to do this episode a wee bit different. We don't have an actual topic for this week, because there is a shit ton of news actually that's happened. That is one of the weeks where I didn't really clock during the week, probably because I had COVID, how much happened until I went to round up the news, and I was like, oh my God, like new trailers and Gamescom and like so much went on. Anyway, we'll get through it all, but we're going to do it kind of upside down this episode. We're going to start with what you've been watching and what you've been playing over the past week. So, Chris,
I'll start then. I've already talked about it. I've been playing Spider-Man, man.
How is it? So, did you play it on PS4, or is this your first time?
No, this is my first time playing it.
You've seen gameplay, but you've not played it before?
I strictly wanted to stay away from the story, because I was like, I know what's happening. I know like Miles Morales is in it and stuff like that. I was really excited. I wanted to actually play him in this one, but I was like, oh shit, maybe it's no connect. Maybe like it's not in this game as well. So that was kind of sucky. But I really enjoyed it. It took me back. Like, see, when I first played it, it opened up my eyes and thinking, oh, this is Spider-Man 2, but better. Like it brought me back to when I first started playing Spider-Man 2. And as soon as, because I think I pre-ordered it, so I got all the suits, or like pre-order suits, so I put on Sam Raimi's suit.
Oh, nice.
To jump a bit. Oh, it was brilliant.
So the first time you swing in that game, that like I remember that distinctly, just pressing the R2 button and just feeling the way that it takes you right in for the cutscene, right into the game, and it's like it's one of the feelings with the controller. It reminds me, there's certain games that do this thing where it's like, I don't know what it is. I don't know how they do it, because it's like you just hold a control with two triggers like this. It's no, but it feels like in God of War, when you throw the axe and you catch it again, it feels like you're catching an axe. Or like in Spider-Man, when you fire a web, it feels like you're firing a web, but you're not. I don't know how they manage that sort of connection, but
I don't know if it's nostalgia or whatever. But
swinging in the game just feels quality. It does remind you. The swinging style reminds you of Spider-Man 2 a lot, I think. Yeah,
I think even like the way like what I used to do in Spider-Man 2, and I used to just hold on to the web. And I see if I were really bored, you would just like, swing and you would go back and forth. And I done it. I done it here just to see if it done the same thing, and I was like, "Oh yes, it does." Like those little weird moments. You're just like, "Yes." I was a bit disappointed where there was no pizza minigame where you had to deliver pizzas, because there was like
my balloon.
I used to burst them if I could, deliberately. But you had pigeons to replace
that's right,
balloons.
Pigeons,
like, I don't know if it's just me, but I enjoyed the game. But I don't know about you. Like, see, when you were playing it, do you think the story was that great? Because I done basically 100% of it. I done all the side missions, all the wee things. But see, if I didn't do all those wee things, I think I would be a bit disappointed in the. I mean, I put 40 hours into it because I've done all the side missions and stuff in DLC. But I think if I just done the story, I would be a bit.
I think what the story does with its difference from the comics and stuff is kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of like a Telltale game, how they stray through the source material, but they take some inspiration.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of alternate Spider-Man stories, I'd say that Insomniac's version of the universe is one of the best. Like I'd say it's probably better than like Tom Holland's solo movies, like the story in that. It's better than the Spider-Verse, in my opinion. It's better than.
I was going to say like Spider-Man
it's
games
not really better than as the original comic, but
yeah, I was going to say like Spider-Man games aren't really like in my mind they're not really there for like solid story really. They're there for playing as a character and actually being Spider-Man.
Get to feel like Spider-Man. Yeah.
You're not there like to get a dramatic story because I was immediately comparing it to Arkham Asylum and stuff like that.
Right.
Just because it's kind of similar. But I was like, see if you were like this, see if you'd done this, but like, see if Arkham Knight was like Spider-Man 2, fucking hell, it would have been so much better.
Yeah.
You know, just like it felt like an actual city you were driving around and swinging around in. And the way, like there was I can't remember, Taskmaster, when you do his tasks and you're just swinging and you get to an element in it and he just tackles you. You're like, what the fuck? But yeah. So there was those wee things really spiced up the game for me. But I would say I can't wait now for Spider-Man 2 after seeing the trailer with Venom coming in it. I don't know if they're doing Miles' version for the PC. I'm not sure.
I think they will. I think depending on how well this version does, but I can see this version doing pretty well. I reckon they'll do the Miles Morales one as well. And I would highly recommend that. I've only played that pretty recently since I got my PS5 and I really enjoyed it.
I was actually going to ask you, like, see the PS5s, are they back in stock now? Because I might need to get that. I can't wait another like 4 years for them to port that in the PC if it's like Spider-Man 2.
We'll get to the state of the PS5. That's coming up, son. Don't you worry.
That's coming up.
Sorry. Oh my God, sorry.
Oh, if they dropped a bombshell.
Oh, they're
just
they're
diarrhea everywhere.
But anyway, we'll get there. We'll get there.
What about yourself?
But no. I wanted to ask you a bit more about Spider-Man. Just in terms of the graphics and stuff, does it look good on PC? I take it. It looks pretty crisp.
It looks great. I had to actually put it down a wee bit because my PC could do it. But like, see, it wasn't it like I'm not really a person that would say, "Oh, I need to see my shadow in the window." I was more. But like, it was
I was going to request it for review from Keen Gamer, but I kind of decided that I had too much on, which is just as well since I get COVID. I was already reviewing 2 games this month, Rollerdrome and Scathe. So taking on a third, even though, I don't know, I was only taking Spider-Man on because I've already played it in PS5 and whatever. I was only really wanting to take it on this version because I've got an ultra-wide monitor up here and it's available for ultra-wide, and I just thought, imagine flying about New York in an ultra-wide monitor, that'd be so cool. But it wasn't worth stressing myself out.
See,
you know,
the good thing
review, so
the good thing from your perspective is you can like see what it was and if anything has changed dramatically, or is it just the wee simple things and then you could say.
It's got all the DLC, isn't it? Doesn't it? All the Black Cat stuff. Yeah.
So that's what's good about it. Like,
see, to be honest, I bought all the DLC after the main game came out, and I thought it was all right, but I thought the main game was much better.
Oh yeah, the DLC.
The DLC is like,
The DLC is like, I'm happy that's there. I mean, I wouldn't go out of my way to buy it if I didn't have it already included. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know how much it was.
If it's there, you're going to play it. But I think it was like, I don't know, 30 quid for like the full package, and then I got it on a PS Plus sale for like 15 quid or something.
I would say 15. I think 15 quid would be useful.
Aye. It was, no, don't go wrong. It was good because do you know what it was? It was a good kind of podcast game. Like, I just put my earphones in, put on whatever podcast, and just sat and
just sat.
I didn't pay much attention to what was going on. I just because I'd already get the platinum trophy for the main game, so I knew all the controls, I knew all the voices and the characters, and I was like, I don't really care about this Black Cat storyline, so I just whacked my earphones in and read the subtitles as the cutscenes went, and that was fine.
Like, I thought, like, I was surprised that they, like, Black Cat was such a main character. Well, not a main character, but she's a really big side character in the Spider-Man franchise, and she usually is in some way in the main game, but she's usually sometimes not really a main impact to the main story, so maybe that's why they just said, right, let's leave her side mission and give her own wee package. because when it said like when you completed the DLC bit by bit, it said to be continued, and I was like, oh right, okay, that's going to be a continued story in Spider-Man 2. And then when I finished all the 3 DLCs, I was like, all right, they've just kind of finished. They've kind of gave you the answers within them, like with I don't know, can we spoil? I'm guessing we can spoil stuff.
Yeah, it's been out for ages. Spoilers for Spider-Man game.
But like, I'll just do this one. Like, Black Cat kind of gets set up to get blown up in the end of her DLC, and then through, I think it was one of the Bob's DLC, she actually comes back and she's alive. So in my mind, I was like, all right, okay, that's a cheap win. Like, I thought that was going to be explained in the actual next game, but there was wee things like that. And with the thing with the Captain Yuri, I was like, oh, you could have left that into the next game and it could have been much more of an impact. But it's, I mean, I'm happy that there's actual games like that coming out. Like, games that are solidly good, you know. It's no just cannon fodder now. But from the instincts where you said the PS5 is maybe doing some shady shit, I'm like, oh fuck. Yeah. We can wait to get it. But like, I can't wait.
I've got stuff to say about Sony. So what I've been playing though, talking about PS5, I've been playing the game that I got with the console. I've just got around to playing Horizon Forbidden West, the sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yep. Any good?
I'm a bit.
You want to kind of. And the first game didn't blow you away, did it?
No. The first game didn't. There was something for me. There was something missing for that first game. Like for me being a Sony exclusive, especially a Sony first party exclusive, it kind of means something. Like there's a prestige there. But you think of games like Last of Us and Uncharted, Detroit Become Human, God of War. There's like a certain level of quality that they all satisfy. The gameplay is good, the story is great, the acting is great, the presentation, the graphics, everything's at least like an 8 out of 10. Everything's on a certain level. The first Horizon Zero Dawn, there was something missing. It kind of got buried at the time because it came out around the same time as that Zelda Breath of the Wild game. That was huge, and they're kind of similar in certain ways, open world, and you're jumping about the environment and whatever. And the way that I felt about the first game, I didn't care about the story or the characters at all. I wanted to play it because the trailers looked cool and it looked like killing robot dinosaurs would be fun.
It looked different.
Honestly, that was as simple as my mentality was. I was like, I want to kill a big robot dinosaur. So I got the game. I actually like Courtney bought the first one as a gift.
What a disappointing gift.
You're lucky she's not here by the So
Jesus, sorry.
My summary of the first game is it's fun to kill robot dinosaurs for about 20 minutes. And then see once you've killed one big robot dinosaur, you've killed them all. And see for the next 20 hours, because the first one was quite a long game, all you're doing is just rinse and repeat, killing all robot scan it for the weak spot, shoot the exhaust pipe on the back of it, shoot it in the face, scavenge the parts, use it to make a spear or a rifle or something, and then rinse and repeat again. And I was like, it needed something more. I stuck with it because I thought maybe the end will be good. Maybe there'll be a big twist in the story. Maybe there'll be a brilliant boss fight at the end. Maybe there'll be something to make it all worthwhile. And there wasn't. It just kind of fizzled out. It's just, like I said, the first 20 minutes of that game when you're jumping about the slow motion firing arrows at robot dinosaurs, you feel awesome and you're like, this is really cool. And then you're like, you kind of get to the half an hour mark and you're like, is that all there is to this game? And then you get to like an hour in and you're like, I think this is all there is to this game. And then you get to like 5 hours in and you realise, that's the whole game. That's it. Like, that's honestly all there is to it. So it
must do well though. It must like sell well.
I did. Again, like I often am, I was in the minority. Opinion wise, a lot of people like it. And I'm good. I'm happy for the team because it's Guerrilla who made the Killzone games, and then this was like their kind of step up into something a bit more ambitious. So I'm glad they did well. Like I don't grudge them at all, and I think there's potential there. But I don't know. I was a big fan of the first one, but anyway, I bought the set. Well, I didn't buy the set when the set one came with the PS5, but I was going to get it regardless and play it because I thought, new generation PS5. This is our chance. The first one had potential. This is our chance to expand on that and prove that there is something else that they can do, kind of like Assassin's Creed. Like the first one was kind of, and then the second one they done more with it, or even Arkham to some extent. The Arkham games they kind of done that with Arkham City.
They were either expanding it as they
were. I thought the sequel might have that sort of progression. No, it's just more the same, mate. It's just more.
Oh, killing robots. Oh,
it's just more killing robot dinosaurs. Honestly, I'm like 5 hours in, I know it's just it's the same shit.
Do you think there's something like, because I know the Spider-Man was a PS5 exclusive at that point.
The Spider-Man game was a PS4 exclusive when it came out.
Because there was just when you were saying like repetitive gameplay, there was a little bit for me in the Spider-Man game that you kept doing the same thing. Like the wee small side missions were really similar. And you would get bored of them if you kind of done them all in one, which I done, which was stupid.
If you go for the platinum, no, I get that. I get that.
But like, I'm guessing, could there be a connection between like maybe like people are saying like these are like filler tasks that you need to get through? You know, like in the beginning of development of the game, they say, right, you need to get these tasks in to make the game longer, or is that not affected here? Is it just a boring game? Like,
I don't know. No, I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Is it like side missions and stuff in that? Or
yeah. Like, okay. There's tons to do in Horizon. It's kind of one of the games as well that, even though the story itself, I don't know about the second game, but the first game it lasted about 20 hours. It was a really long campaign. There was still a shitload of like question marks and side missions on the map that I just ignored, and I won't be doing this time round either. Yeah. I think what I was looking for. Do you know what I think it is as well? I think I picked the wrong game to play next. I don't think I should have picked this following Far Cry 6, because I've just came off a game that was open world. I didn't care about the story. I played it with my earphones and listened to a podcast, and I've just went right into another game where it's the same. And I think I should have played like a good story game and then tried Horizon, and that would have maybe broke it up a bit. Yeah. I feel like I've stepped out of like Ubisoft and into Guerrilla, and it's just the same formula. Thing. Do you know what I mean? The same sort of formula, and I'm like, I don't know. I've just done this open world checklist stuff, and I'm doing it again. I'm taking out camps, and I'm taking out outposts, and I'm getting to radio towers, and it's just Far Cry third person with robot dinosaurs. Yeah. Like, it's just the same shit in a different. Every open world game, let's be honest, is essentially the same nowadays.
It is. Oh my god, it's so sad when you've just said that. Like it's just highlighted. Like,
every game is just radio towers and enemy camps and. Escort missions, and you get somebody from A to B, or you need to go and collect an item for another camp and bring it back because he needs to build something with it. Or
it's just different skins.
It's the same blueprint. Yeah, it's the same blueprint. And I think I should have, like, I've got Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy sitting there, and I've got Deathloop, and I've got Hitman 3, and I've not played any of them. I should have probably played one of them and then played this. But hey, I'm 4 years in now. I'm committed, so let's just finish. At this stage, I'm just like, let's just batter in, get my earphones in, play through it, and then chuck it when I'm done. Do you know what I mean? That's
do you think there's something like I know, like in the past couple of years, game companies have been harassed by like fans and stuff saying your story is like either good but it's short as hell. Do you think now they're just thinking, right, let's make a long and boring story? Because the fans are saying these stories are short as hell.
The story in Horizon, I skip every cutscene because it's shite. It's shite. I'm not even going to mess.
The story's rubbish. I'm just going to walk about.
Garbage. Like,
wow.
Well, actually, this is going to relate to something in the news, but there's one good part of the game. See, Lance Reddick, the guy that was in the Resident Evil series, and he's in John Wick. He works at the hotel.
The manager,
he's in the game, and he's great in it. He's the one good part. He's not in it much. He's like the kind of baddie, but you don't really see him that much. He's kind of like only a couple of scenes. He's the best part of the game. Other than that, skip every cutscene, like, because it's just these weird people with like a motherboard on their heads and like weird robes being like, Aloy, we have to rescue the dude, and it's all just like, what is going on? Like, it feels like dumb cosplay, and some of them have got like weird accents, and they're all like weird, like, I don't know, like inbred country folk, and they're like, Aloy, we need your help to find the antlers for the deer. And I'm like, what are you talking? Like, I don't know, it's shite. The story's shite.
Just don't play it. Just don't play it.
I just honestly, you press. I can tell you about to skip the cutscenes. You press square to skip the long cutscenes, and then the kind of in-game cutscenes. I just rapid fire X, and just, you know how that way when somebody starts talking, it's like, now we need to, and then. Yeah, we go to, and I'm just pressing.
Right. It's one of those ones. You can't skip it.
Right, okay, next scene.
Right, okay.
Yeah,
maybe that's why they put that in, because they knew it was such a boring thing.
Because new people like me would just honestly, it's no great. The story's pretty garbage, but hey, maybe people like it. Maybe it's just me. I don't know.
So do you think like did that come out in February? So like do you know if there's a sequel to this one coming out, or I don't know if that come out in February?
I'm sure it launched with the PS5. I'm pretty sure it was a PS5 launch game. So it would have been last November or whatever it came out, or last October.
Right, okay. Oh well, they probably are going. I mean, it looks like they're doing like a whole Uncharted. They're treating this as an Uncharted series, so they'll do a third one. Possibly.
Yeah, probably. Hopefully, they give us something more this time round, because it's just the same shit different day. But
doing the same thing.
I to be honest, like I said, I think a lot it's my fault.
Blame yourself. That's the nice card. That's the nice card.
But hey,
I don't think so. I think you would have came to the same conclusion. You would have like, oh fuck this.
I would have felt the same, but I wouldn't have been as annoyed about it. Do you know what I mean? I would have had the same opinion, but I probably wouldn't have been as dejected, because I would have at least had a buffer of some good story game instead of just going to another boring open world. I don't know. Anyway, let's move on. Movies. Have you been watching it this week, Chris, or TV?
I've not been watching any movies, but I've caught up. I wanted to keep She-Hulk in 2 episodes things, because I felt like just with the TV series, it needs a wee bit more to bite me to get me involved in it. And to be honest, I don't know about yourself, but I've loved the first 2 episodes of She-Hulk. The second episode, I was like, oh, this is like, it felt like a web series, like a 15-minute show. I was like, well, fuck, what's happening here? You've put so many wee Easter eggs and stuff in, and now it just finishes. It finishes a bit quick. But I would say I'm really involved in this one than I did. Like, it was Moon Knight. I've not watched the other 2 ones. I can't remember even.
Miss Marvel
and the other one.
Hawkeye. I've not seen any of She-Hulk. I've not seen a minute of it.
Oh, is it a stand? Is it a stand?
No. It's because I've not finished Miss Marvel. I watched maybe half of Miss Marvel, and I keep wanting to go back to it, and it's kind of like Boba Fett as well. I'm saying Boba Fett. I've watched half of it, and I'm like, oh, I need to go back and finish it. I can't be arsed. And I've had that same mentality for ages. And She-Hulk came out, and I'm like, I want to watch Miss Marvel first and be up to date, and then watch She-Hulk. So I've just not done it. To be honest,
I took the kind of same approach, but in a sense of I've not watched either. I never finished Hawkeye, but I know what happens through all like other podcasts and videos and stuff like that. And I never watched Miss Marvel, and I was like, right, I need to start when it comes out, so that I'm in the hype element of it. Like each episode is hype, because that's what I'm doing. Better Call Saul with me. Like, I finished the season 4, and then I had to wait a year, and then I just never caught up.
I lost interest.
I knew I'm trying to grab myself back.
Yeah.
So it's like, I now know that's my mentality when I'm watching shows. I need to get in quick.
Yeah.
To keep my interest. But I would say it's not got any connections so far, what I know. But I would say it's a really good show. I would really recommend it.
I will get into it. I do intend on watching it.
It's very quick though, so it'll be interesting to see your take on it, because it's like, I see if you just had episode 1, you would feel a wee bit like, what's happening? Yeah, this is like half an episode. It really feels like, just for the first 2, it feels like they've made like a 2-hour movie or 2.5-hour movie, and they've just cut it into segments. Which could be,
like you said, it might make a difference if I watch it on one, can I binge it on one block?
It probably would feel like it wouldn't feel like a TV series.
Just feel like a movie.
You'd be like, oh shit, what's happened to you?
And it's 6 episodes, right?
I think so. I don't think it'd be 8. It might be 8 because how short they are, but because like even like with it, it's 30 minutes long, but with the credits, it's probably like 18 minutes long. So it's like a sitcom time,
Yeah.
But I would
see it.
I mean, I've really got no connection to She-Hulk or anything. I never read the comics in that. Jared is probably up in his seat right now and like screaming at us, like showing his comics and go, look, fucking idiot.
I wonder if I've got any She-Hulk comics there. I've got some A-Force comics that she's in along with Miss Marvel and stuff. They're in amongst there somewhere, but I don't know about actual She-Hulk comics. Don't think so.
But you can see like the only thing I'm noticing is like they're really hitting you in the head with the references. That they're really, it's like every scene now is like they have something in it. Either she says something or you see something in the background. And you're like, oh, okay, okay, and they try to capture me because of all this stuff. But I would definitely get through Miss Marvel, and you'll be able to catch up with this guy. But
yeah,
I know you're feeling because you've been telling me to do that with Better Call Saul, and I have not done that.
I've still actually not spoken about the end of Better Call Saul, other than the fact that I liked that, because I've already said this on last week's episode, but me and Courtney, we're going to wait until The Handmaid's Tale final season starts next month. Or this month's technically probably by the time September. Starts in September.
Yeah.
Once The Handmaid's Tale finishes for good, we're going to do an episode of For Our Consideration on the best and worst endings of a TV show ever. So on that episode, we'll talk Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad, Sons of Anarchy, Game of Thrones.
I thought you were building up to thinking that this new TV show you're watching is going to suck.
Oh no!
I thought that's what you were building there. Like,
no,
Handmaid's Tale was going to suck.
Oh, I hope The Handmaid's Tale nails the landing, because if The Handmaid's Tale nails their finale, for me that'll be one of the greatest TV shows ever.
Satisfying, yeah.
If they can nail this final season, then one of the best TV shows ever. Because so far that is, they just need to. Game of Thrones, people said that halfway through, and then look what happens. So
that's another thing. Have you watched the new Game of Thrones?
I've not watched the House of the Dragon. No, I've not watched it.
Really didn't. I think I've been scarred because.
Yeah, I don't have any interest because of the finale. Again, I will watch it. I will see it. I just haven't yet.
No, because
I'm not in a hurry.
Because I'm going to probably do the same thing I done with Game of Thrones. I was really late to watching Game of Thrones.
So was I.
So I was like about maybe 3 seasons past. So
I didn't start Game of Thrones until the season where Jon Snow quote unquote died, and then they brought him back. That like mid-season break. That's when I watched it, because everybody was talking about Jon Snow's dead and all that, and I was like, obviously he's no dead. And then that's when I watched it all. It was like second last or last season. Something
I think I was on maybe. I was watching that to episode at that point, so I think that's when I started to really say like, let's commit to this. So I was probably started at the same amount of time. But it shows like if you do something really shit to an audience, it really puts a bad thing in their mouth.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Bad taste. But what about yourself? Have you been watching any TV shows other than...
So do you know what I've been watching? Because I was like kind of during the first COVID isolation that we did, we watched the Scream movies.
Oh yeah.
So this time I thought, do you know what? Let's go back and rewatch Scrubs for the start.
Oh wow, that's a lot of fucking episodes.
Scrubs is on Disney Plus, weirdly. I get used to be Fox owned, and then because Disney bought Fox. So yeah, it's on Disney Plus, and we're on the 4th season. And do you know what? For the most part, it holds up. Some of it's aged incredibly poorly. Particularly the Todd. The Todd is... I remember the Todd when I was wee being dead funny, like, he makes all the sex jokes and does the high fives, and he's the Todd. See now, as an adult, it's just like, mate, I would knock you out if you were a real guy.
Like, see really? If I saw you, I'd
punch you square. He's insufferable. Like, he's such an annoying... he's the worst.
I never finished Scrubs, so I need to probably actually sit and go through it again, but... But yeah, I know who you're talking about, Todd. Yeah,
no one counts the last season. The last season never happened because that was garbage. Once GD leaves that hospital, that's it, done. The bit when they go to med school and all that shit, that's
I
think
that's why I stopped. I never finished that last season. So I was like, so yeah, you thought Todd was a bit of an arse.
Oh yeah, Todd's the worst. But do you know who holds up 100%? Dr. Cox. Dr. Cox is still hilarious.
Yeah.
John C. McGinley, his performance is incredible. His monologues and his rants, and even he's so theatrical. Like even the way, not just the way he speaks, but see just the way he moves his hands and the faces he pulls. He's amazing, man. Honestly, I genuinely think I was saying this to Courtney last night when we were watching it. I think he might have actually been better than anybody else in the show, and
really,
kind of like trapped in an inferior show. I think he might be a superior character and a superior actor trapped in a show that's not as good as him. Like, I don't know, I just, because like even JD is annoying the shit at me when I'm rewatching it. Like, he's just a whiny wee dick, and Turk's quite whiny as well. Like, I only really like Carla. Rewatching it, I like Carla and I like Cox, and the janitor's still quite funny, but everybody else,
yeah, it's you're ruining your own show. Like, you enjoy.
The more I'm talking about it, I know I'm kind of talking myself out of it. But no, for the most part, it holds up, and it's Scrubs is a good just switch your brain off. Like, see if you're sitting down with dinner and you can't be asked to look for something, just throw Scrubs on. Like, it's one of these shows. It's like Friends that way. Do you know what I mean? You just stick it on in the background. That's also just go back to the Miss Marvel and Hulk thing. The amount of times that we sat down this last week and went, "Do I put Miss Marvel on so we can watch She-Hulk?" And then we went, "Nah, let's just stick Scrubs on." Like, that's happened about 4 times this week. And again, I know that I've seen Scrubs and it's an ancient show. I don't need to watch it, but I don't know. I've got no interest to watch Miss Marvel.
There's comfort there as well. Like, I saw something. It was like a psychological study or something that says people watch. Like, I used to do it with Friends, and I've tried to stop watching Friends now. Like, when it just comes on, you just watch it. But you're comfortable because you know what the ending is.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that makes any sense to you. But like, see the Miss Marvel as well, like the time commitment. I'm like, I can't have an hour. See, for a show that I'm not really totally interested in, I don't really want to waste an hour watching it. You know,
I get that.
I can understand where people. I'm in the mentality now where like I've watched every Marvel film, so I would need to watch every TV show.
Yeah, I'm the same. It's like OCD at this point. It's like obligation.
Exactly. That's what it is. So if I sign up for it, I'll have to commit myself. So I'm not signing up for it at the moment, unless I need to down the line. You know.
Fair dues. I only saw one movie this week. I did intend on seeing Beast, the new one with Idris Elba fighting the lion.
Oh yeah, I was a bit weirded by that one. Like, it's
we had that booked for Friday night, but obviously COVID, we couldn't go. Although thankfully we did get to the cinema before I tested positive. There's a movie that came out this week called The Invitation. It didn't come out until like Thursday or Friday, but we seen it at the start of the week because we had a limitless screening thing.
You like to bring that up and shove that in my face every time. Like,
mate, it's quality. Get limitless. Like, honestly, it's worth it. Like, I was there 100% sold. Even when I bought it, I was like, am I wasting my money here? So he said, I've got it. It's dynamite. Because even though I keep looking at the upcoming schedule and then be like, oh, there's nothing coming out, but then I'll just see a trailer for a film that I know nothing about, like this movie that I'm just going to talk about, and you're not losing anything because you've got your card anyway. You go and see it, and this movie I'm going to talk about, it's not the best movie in the world, but do you know what? I'm glad I went to see it. It was a laugh. Like, I enjoyed it, and I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have seen it. I probably wouldn't have even watched it like in the house otherwise. Do you know what I mean? So it is good just for that, just to get like wee kind of surprises. You're like, oh, I didn't expect this would be anything, and I actually quite enjoyed it. Like, it's quite good that way. So we get an email about the Invitation. It's called. It's a horror film. I kind of struggle to call it a horror film. It's cheesy and it knows what it is.
Oh, right, okay. It's aware. Okay.
It's not a comedy, but there's certain moments that you're like, they must have known what they were doing. This is too dumb. Like, it's that kind of thing, but not in a bad way. Not like, oh, this is dumb. It's like, oh, this is fun and dumb. Like, it's just a fun, dumb horror movie. It's not.
I've got nothing against it.
So one thing I will say, if you've got any interest in this film, don't watch the trailer. I watched the trailer and it gives away a major twist, which doesn't happen until the last act of the movie. Really, this quite big twist happens. Like, you know, it's a horror movie, right? But it's for the start. But there's a specific type of horror that it becomes at the end, and the trailer totally gives it away. So I watched, because I got the notification on my phone, right? I get the email and I was like, what's this? I hadn't even heard it. I was just looking at the poster and I was like, what's this? And I was like, I'll watch the trailer. So I started the trailer on and I was like, I feel like I just watched the whole movie there. So I went in the comments and people in the comments are like, don't watch this trailer, it spoils the whole movie. Okay. So I said to Courtney, before we went, I said to Courtney, I was like, listen, I'm going to take you to see this film. Just trust me, don't watch the trailer because you'll enjoy it better if you just get the surprise of what it is. So I don't want to give it away here either because it is.
I just went to Google Images and I know I've seen it.
Yeah. Okay, so don't Google the movie either.
Don't Google anything. Oh, that's
it's it's not the greatest movie in the world, but it's a laugh. I enjoyed it. It is dumb. It knows what it is. It's cheesy. There's a few kind of light scares in it. There's a few laughs in it. It's just everybody in it's having a good time, hamming it up. It's.
Do you think is it like I don't know. I can't remember what the film that Daniel Radcliffe done. It was supposed to be a horror movie. Is it the same vibe as that?
The Women in Black?
The Women in Black.
The Women in Black's way darker. This is like
lighter.
The Women in Black. I mean, if she's a cheesy movie, like this is way more kind of. It's not like scary movie, but it's just a bit tongue in cheek, like at the camera, like, oh, we know this is silly, but do you know what I mean? Like, there's certain moments like that. Do you know what it's got vibes of and what it's kind of similar to? Have you seen Ready or Not? The one where Samara Weaving's the bride and it's like the hide and seek game. Yep. Well, it's get vibes of that. It's the best way that I've heard it summed up so far, because once I'd kind of heard the movie, I did look up somebody's review, and the person in the review said, I can't even credit them because I can't remember who it was, but they said this movie is like a mix between Get Out and Ready or Not, but it's not as good as either. And that is the best way to sum it up. It's not a bad movie, but it's not as good as either of those movies, but it's good enough that it's fun. It's just a fun, dumb horror movie.
To watch it.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, also, if you got your cards, there's no paying for it. You just go and you have a laugh, and it was worth 2 hours of your day, and I enjoyed it. It was good.
I mean, it's good that you're doing it, because I think, see, now with streaming, you're less doing that kind of adventure thing, like of just like, let's go and see this movie. Like with streaming now, like anything I watch now on Netflix, I watch the first
description,
5 seconds,
poster,
stuff like
trailer,
and then if you're it's like everything like what you just watched, maybe the wee 5-minute segment gives away the whole fucking thing. So you're like, oh, well, do I watch?
Yeah.
You know? So maybe it is.
And that's the thing, you know me. I'm always the guy that's like, oh, I don't care about spoilers. Like, tell me the end. I don't care. But for this movie, I think a lot of the fun is in seeing that twist.
Yeah.
And if you know that going in, then this film probably isn't worth seeing, to be honest. Like, the actual movie itself isn't that good, but it's fun and
you're really
learning the twist.
No,
but learning the twist is the fun of the movie. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you know it beforehand, there's no really much point watching it. Like, even though I still enjoyed it, I cannot, to be honest with you, I went to the cinema to see it because I wanted to see Courtney's reaction when she saw the twist. That was kind of what I was going for. Right, I was like, see, when she sees this will give her a laugh. And that was kind of like why I wanted to go and see it. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have, because I already knew the twist. Do you know what I mean? Like, I get a lot of the joy out as like seeing the twist or seeing other people see the twist. Like, I don't know. Other than that, it's just
sound a bit like a serial killer.
Cheesy subpar horror movie.
I just wanted to watch Courtney's reaction.
mate. Whenever me and her go and see a horror film, I spend half the movie just watching her face because she shits herself in the cinema. It's quality. It's so funny. Like, your last one we went to see was Nope, and that was funny as well. And in the Black Phone, like every time, man, she's hilarious. She just screams and puts her hands over her mouth and that, and people feel like, oh, no, I'm just gutting myself in the seat next to her. She's great to laugh at in the cinema. Anyway, shout out to my for our consideration co-host. Go and watch our episodes below.
And your fiance.
And my fiance.
I love how the host came first.
Yeah, that's her title. It is like tight. And so if I was like putting her name, I'd put Courtney going co-host of For Our Consideration, and then tiny print underneath, also my fiance, just that small. But you need a magnifying glass to read it.
Oh, that was beautiful. Oh. I love to know where you are.
Right.
Oh, man. We're going on the news train.
Let's move on. Let's get on to the choo-choo news train.
Let's go.
Yeah, because like we said, we don't have a topic this week, but a lot has happened. News-wise. So the kind of first significant thing that happened. Well, I don't know. I'm not doing it in chronological order. One of the things that happened this week was Gamescom. Which is the German games festival, which I actually could have got to if I happened to get a plane to Cologne. Keen Gamer were able to get press passes. So if I was able to get a flight with about 2 days' notice, then I could have went. But hey, COVID, as if that's the reason. Not the fact I'm saving up for a wedding. But hey,
nah.
So Gamescom happened, and it's kind of like Gamescom's always kind of been like after E3, probably the biggest one. It's kind of like E3, Gamescom, and Tokyo Game Show. They're usually the three big ones. I wasn't really expecting much because they released like a lineup of games. I think Jeff Keighley on Twitter put up like the lineup of games that will be appearing beforehand. I wasn't really that hyped to a lot of them. But do you know what? What was shown? Okay, a lot of it we already knew about, but I was quite pleased with what was shown. There was two particular surprises that I didn't expect, and I didn't even expect there to be surprises. First one, Dead Island 2 is still happening. Dead Island 2, I don't know if you know the whole saga with this, Chrissy, but like the first Dead Island came out. Well, for years. I mean, the first Dead Island came out. Let's Google it. I think it was 10 years ago. Possibly more. I mean, it was a PSC game, the first Dead Island. So they released the very first Dead Island game. They released that, and then they did the game called Dead Island Riptide, which wasn't. It wasn't Dead Island 2. It was like Dead Island 1.5, basically.
2011, the first one came out.
So more than 10 years. What an incredible trailer that was. So remember the wee lassie falling at the window in slow motion, then it played it backwards, and that was incredible. And it showed your family getting ripped apart and stuff. It was such a tragic trailer. And then the game was just a dumb like zombie clubbing game, but it was weird how the trailer didn't line up with the tone of the game. But hey,
oh man,
I enjoyed the first Dead Island. I remember getting it at the time. Nobody really liked it, and I was like, do you know what? This is fun. I like this. I like finding rare weapons and just bashing zombie heads. Like it's just a fun.
I think if you like Left 4 Dead, and you jump off that train,
I was never a Left 4 Dead guy. I was never.
Oh, never. No.
Nah, I've never really been an online co-op guy, to be honest. I like online, like battle royale stuff like COD, but online co-op's never really been my thing. So I was never a Left 4 Dead guy, but I like Dead Island 1, and then they did Dead Island Riptide, which I don't think I ever played. I think I own it on Steam or something, but I've not played it anyway. Then they were going to do Dead Island 2, and they released this trailer, again a really cool trailer of a guy running down Venice Beach as he's slowly transforming into a zombie. So he starts off, he's got like the blonde hair and his white teeth and stuff, and he's this like handsome guy running down Venice Beach, and then his teeth fall out, and his hair ends up all like, I think it's a wig, it turns out, and it blows away, and he's got this bald, and he's like, and he's like running along like Venice Beach while all these like guys coming. I think somebody cuts his head off, and anyway, it's a cool trailer. If you've not seen it. But again, that trailer alone was shown about 10 years ago. And then the team announced that they're doing Dying Light, and Dying Light comes out, and it's basically Dead Island. It's the same team, and it's basically Dead Island with free running. Which sounds amazing. That sounds incredible, right? But see, to be honest with you, again, I feel I always just sound like I'm being contrarian. I'm not, right? This is genuinely how I feel. I prefer Dead Island to Dying Light. Which nobody feels that way. Like everybody hates Dead Island and everybody loves Dying Light. I couldn't quite get into Dying Light. I got it quite late. It came out in like a dead zone. It came out in like a January one year, and because there was nothing else out, it done really well. It sold a lot of copies. Got a lot of hype, and then I get round to it like 6 months later, and I was like, this is alright, but I prefer Dead Island. Anyway, I've never even finished the first Dying Light, which is why I've not bought the second one, because the second one is also now out for current gen consoles for PS5, Dying Light 2. Now, everybody thought Dead Island was dead, because now they're making Dying Light games, so why would they go back? But hey, apparently they are. Apparently there's a trailer for it, and do you know what? It looks fun.
It's interesting why that got pushed aside to work on particularly just the same, because it's all fast zombies, you know. It's not anything.
Yeah, exactly. Like what's weird for me, it's like, okay, Naughty Dog have got Uncharted and Last of Us. GTA have got Red Dead, and Rockstar have got GTA and Red Dead. Is what I meant.
I was wondering where you were going.
But like they're quite, even though there's like similar, I guess you can shoot in both games. It's like the comparison. They're still different games, like they're different settings.
Different genres.
You can't drive in Red Dead, and you can't ride a horse in GTA. You know, there's differences. But Dying Light and Dead Island, what is the difference? You can free run in Dying Light. That's it. Like there's no. It's essentially the same game. But I'm down for it. I thought it was a pleasant surprise, and I'll probably get this game. I like the first Dead Island. I'm probably the one that's pleased. I'm looking forward to this. I'm glad it's happening.
It's interesting how it's like a 10-year hiatus, and maybe it is just they got
like
stakeholders.
I'm glad it's back personally, but I don't see how it's worthwhile for them to bring it back because I don't know how much this will sell. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it could be to a niche audience.
Like it would make more sense for me. It would make more as a business. It would make more sense for them to either do a Dying Light 3 or something else, like a new IP, instead of going back to this. But hey, I'll take it.
I mean, see if it's already in development. This has already been discussed, or if it's
exactly.
It's
out. It's got a release date. It's out in like February. Never done.
So it's finished.
Like it's mental. Yeah.
I mean, maybe they finished it in like 2014 and they put it on.
Just be sitting on it. Aye, they'll just make the graphics a bit better. Aye.
Yeah.
I don't know. So there's another game coming out that was shown. That's been shown already called High on Life.
I actually really enjoyed that one. What did you think?
Well, it's. I mean, it's. If you like Rick and Morty, you're going to like this game because it's just Justin Roiland being Justin Roiland. He's voicing all the guns in the game, so the guns talk to you, and they're like, "Shoot this guy! Hurry up! I want to go get dinner!" And like they say shit like that to you as you're like fighting. So it's very like Rick and Morty humor. But they showed a boss fight at the Gamescom showcase, and it looked really cool. Actually, it was like a room that was slowly filling up with sludge, and you're fighting this thing, and you're like swinging between. So you've got one gun that fires obviously bullets, and then you've got this knife, which the knife's just like, "Hey man, let me stab him, let me get him in the ribs. I'm gonna kill this guy." It's just saying stuff like that. But from the other end of the knife, you've got a grappling hook, so you can like swing about like Spider-Man while you're shooting. It looks cool. It looks fun. It's first person. I think it'll be in VR as well. I don't know, but yeah. I mean, probably play this.
I'm not really sure about VR games. I mean, I think that's still got a good long period of time to go. But probably all first-person shooters will be the ones that.
Although, well, I was going to say the one game, or one of the few games that I've played on VR that I've thought, wow, this is really making use of the headset and the remotes and the VR experience, is the game that they made called Trover Saves the Universe. Like, there's parts in that where, like, you'll be looking at a wee miniature town, and it'll be like, oh, you can move your head. So as you move your head closer like that, the wee guys will look up at you, and they're like, oh, who's this giant dude looking down at us? And like, it makes you feel like you're there. It's honestly, some of it, like, it's dumb Rick and Morty humor, but the way that they use the VR stuff, it's clever, man. That they're good at what they do. Yeah. Or like, there's a part where it's like, somebody's like, hey, down here, and you're like, what? And then it's like, I'm talking to you, big guy, and then it's like, I'm going to kick you in the shins, and you actually need to like crouch down, and then there's like a tree, and you have to like almost lie on the floor, and then like inside the tree there's a wee guy, and it's like, yeah, me, I'm talking to you, and it's like, how did he even think of shit like that? Like, it's really brilliant. It's really, really like well implemented.
It's interesting. Like, that's like a wee innovative medium, because like it's the same. It's the same. I used to think the VR was like a kind of add-on. Like, movies used to just release movies in 3D when it wasn't fit for that. So this sounds like they actually customized it for VR.
That's it. As you said, as you just said there, there's loads of games that it's not necessary for, and they just tack it on. But there's certain games, like the Rick and Morty game, the Astrobot game, which was like the one that Sony made, and it was just like a wee platformer, and probably Resident Evil 7. They're probably the 3 games that I've played in VR that I've been like, these are made for VR, and they feel like they're using the tech in a way that you couldn't play this game without it. I mean, you could, but it wouldn't be as good. Whereas there's other games that it's like there's no difference really between playing it VR and playing it on the telly. Like, there's no difference really. Whereas there's certain games that it's like, oh no, there's actually a palpable. You feel like you're in the room. Like, they really put you in the experience and make it essential. So no, I Squanch Games are called. That's what the company's called, and good on them. I hope they keep doing well, because Rick and Morty's great, and they're making good games. So good for them. So the other kind of surprise I didn't expect was the announcement of a new game called Where Winds Meet. It is...
Oh, right, I know what you are. Yep.
It's a game set in feudal Japan, and it has been described as an ambitious love letter to Ghost of Tsushima. Listen, another open world game set in Japan for like PS5. I'm in, mate. I'm sold. That's all I need.
Because there was like Ghost of Tsushima was really well received, and this is them saying we're not doing a sequel, we're doing a love letter. They don't want to go down that same story road.
I don't think this is the same studio.
Is it not?
No, this isn't Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch, the guys that did what's it called? Infamous. They did Ghost of Tsushima.
Ah, right.
But I think Where Winds Meet might be a Japanese studio, but I might be wrong. Hold on,
so they're jumping on the success of Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
Fair play, mate. If it's a great game,
if there's a market there, then go for it. 100%. It's developed by a Chinese game company. So it's the first game from a new studio called Everstone Studios. Everstone are owned by NetEase Games. NetEase is a Chinese game company that owns studios such as Suda51 Studio, Grasshopper, and that game Naraka Blade Point that's coming out. They also made that. So yeah, pretty decent pedigree.
That's actually quite, it's nice to see like that's like, say, maybe some developers like me and you have got really love for that game and they're actually taking their own chance to do another thing. That's quite good. That shows that that's still a thing. That's not running away.
What I also like is, and I think they should do this with more like cultures. God of War has kind of tackled mythology for the Greeks, and now they're doing the Norse stuff. They should do like, and then this looks like it's sort of like obviously the Asian Eastern influence, but kind of Japanese and Chinese mythology and stuff, and like Buddha, and they did with all the arms and stuff like that. They should do one. I think they should do one for like Indian, like the kind of the Hindu and the Sikh stuff. They should explore that. They should do one for Catholicism. They should do like Jesus and Satan and make this like kind of God of War type game. That's what I would like to see Kratos go next, is like the Crusades. I think that'd be really cool. Have him square up to like, I don't know, like saints and stuff. That'd be cool. You probably a lot of angry religious people online, but I would like it.
But I watched hitting priests and stuff.
Yeah, no, but the whole point of God of War is that gods and devils are all dicks. That's the idea. Like, it doesn't matter who you are. Like, they're all just powerful assholes. Like, you don't need to take their head by some bald angry man. That's basically the premise of God of War. Yeah, but I don't know. I like that influence as well. The fact that it's kind of spiritual, kind of I like Eastern Asian influence, where like the big statues and the sun gods and all that shit. It's cool. It looks cool. It's cool imagery, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I think also like it's a step back from games that have come out in this generation, where now they're just trying to make everything. It's been happening for a wee while, but everything is now all science fiction now.
Yeah,
and there's no. In the past, there was a mixture of science fiction and a classic, chivalry with actual swords and shields. Now, like, you're actually getting a good story and a mix of this. This seems unique, but it's just a game that this would have happened 10 years ago and it would be a normal thing. But this is a new thing within this fucking theme of science fiction stuff.
But that's the thing. I suppose it's maybe a bit different when it comes to mythology stuff, because there's people that believe in this stuff and it is like their religion, and some people don't like you messing with that. But for me, I just think it is like Shakespeare. Like, it's just, at the end of the day, it's just a classic story, and you can bring it up to date and do something interesting with it. Like, it doesn't matter if people believe in it, or if it is fiction, or if it's non-fiction, or whatever. If it's a classic tale worth telling, then tell it again. Like, we still tell stories about William Wallace and Robert the Bruce and stuff, and as far as I know, they actually happened, and the Romans and shit. So what's the difference? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just it's all history in it. It's all just good stories. Like,
I'm really excited about jumping at those kind of pools, because it's something we don't know anything about this, and it's always exciting to know
that too.
Cultures and stuff, and you can just say, right, okay.
Exactly.
Gives you an idea for something
actually
else.
Teach you. Yeah, video games actually teaching you something, which is nice. Yeah, exactly.
Back to the it's just when you said video games, it brought me back to like the old video games, but it never gave you any hints. I felt like this game could be that. I don't know why that came out of my mind there, but it doesn't give you any hints to fix something. It just says, it doesn't even tell you the objective. It just drops it.
There was another game showing that I feel it's going to be that. So we'll skip through these next one quite quickly. The other thing shown was the Callisto Protocol. I'm just buzzing for that game. That's out in December.
Are you like I'm hesitant, man, because I'm like, what about that's like Dead Space then? Like, Dead Space is no. I mean, they're doing the remake, but this will be Callisto Protocol from the future on. You know, they're not going to come back with Isaac.
But this is the best. This is the best of bad situation, in my opinion, because it was EA that killed Dead Space. EA killed Dead Space, and the developers obviously still wanted to do it, which is why they're doing this game.
Doing this kind of thing.
So this is the best of bad situation, in my opinion. It's like them saying, right, like, okay, we can't call it Dead Space, we can't have Isaac, but we want to tell these kind of stories. So this is the best thing you can get.
I mean, see from the trailers we've seen, I'm excited for them. I'm really excited. I'm just bummed out that it's no Isaac. That's really what it is. He's not an engineer. He's a prisoner. I mean, I don't care. Either way, I'm going to play the game. But
I sort of agree with you, right? But I also think we're kind of getting our cake and eating it too, because we're getting this in December and then we're getting the Dead Space remake in January.
Exactly.
So even, I mean, although there is obviously the chance because the Dead Space remake is coming from EA, it could be shit. We do need to prepare for that possibility.
See, if it is shit, at least I've got this. You know,
at least one's good. Exactly. Yeah. This I would hedge my bets. This will be great. Like I do not see this being shit. I'll say that now. There you go. Take my word for it. If you think that I know anything, which I don't really, but
so guesswork.
If for some reason you do, then there you go. The Ghost. Well, I did say at the start of the God Complex, so it's Gospel according to Daniel today. Let's just go through all the blasphemy since we've already slagged all the religions off. Class of Protocol. Yeah, it looks great. It looks great. I'm buzzing. I'm going to play it, and I'm going to play Dead Space game too. I don't have any sort of like boycotting preferences. I hope both are good. I hope
is this got a release date? Is it towards the end of this year? Or...
It's December. I can't remember the exact date, but it's out in December. Yeah. So just before Christmas. It's like 19th of December or something, just before Christmas.
Well, I'll be definitely. That'll be my Christmas game.
I know. Right over the Christmas period. Sit playing Space Horror on Christmas Day, like, yes.
Santa Claus comes over the put an Easter egg in. He's like one of the enemies. Oh Jesus! No, but I'm buzzing.
Yeah, so the game that I was referencing when you said that there's probably going to be no hints given. Lies of P is it's been described. I hate this phrase. It's a Dark Souls like with a sniff of Bloodborne.
Oh, that's awful.
I know.
That's something to try come up with a smart link.
I know. Do you know what kind of annoyed me about it though when I watched the trailer? It's a retelling of Pinocchio, which again, like we were just saying there, I like when people take these old stories and make them creepy or put a new spin on them anyway, some sort of a sci-fi spin or a whatever kind of spin. This is like a kind of horror spin on like Pinocchio. That's a cool idea. I want to see that. But then you watch the gameplay and you go, oh, it's just Dark Souls. Like, it's just getting killed 100 times, rolling about the floor, trying to get a stab in, rolling about the floor. Like, I hate that kind of janky gameplay. And that's exactly what this looks like. So, do you know what I'll probably do? I'll probably watch somebody playing this on YouTube. Because that will save me the frustration of dying a million times. And I'll get to see the story. So that's probably... See, when I see a game like this, I'm like, this is a game to watch on YouTube.
Watch the Rad Brad.
I don't know. Just empty. Somebody that's not annoying, preferably. Yeah, that's
it. The interesting fact is Pinocchio. What has happened to that character? That character's got popular over the past couple of years.
Do you know what
Tom
it is?
Hanks is doing a fucking film. Tim Burton done one.
Do you know what it is, mate?
No,
Guillermo.
Yeah, that one.
It's because it's out of copyright. It's over 100 years old, so they don't need to pay for the rights.
Disney must be raging.
Yeah. Disney only own see that specific look of Pinocchio that's for the cartoon. They own that, so nobody else can make their character look like that, but they can do Pinocchio. Basically, is the rule.
Wait, so
it's the same with the Jungle Book. You know how Andy Serkis made a Jungle movie last year, and Jon Favreau made his. Again, there's no copyright on it. They can make it. But it's the same with Pinocchio.
Oh, I thought they had to, so they can't renew it. They can't. The people, whoever the copy, they can't. Oh, right.
Because I think the copyright, even though I don't know if this is the case. I think it's because although Disney as a company own the rights, the creator owns the actual copyright. So unless the creator of that thing renews it, I don't think the company can. I think that's how it works. So if the guy that made Pinocchio happens to be dead and his wains aren't bothered, then it just won't get renewed, and then they can make it. I think that's basically how it works.
Oh, I did not know that. Yeah, because that solves the problem then.
It's outside of copyright. That's why it's so popular now. Yeah.
So are you actually a wooden boy in the Lies of P?
I think so. I don't know, to be honest. I don't know if it's like a loose adaptation. I don't know how close it is to the original. I don't know, but
to be honest, like Pinocchio's story is dark as hell if you look at it from an adult's perspective
100%.
when you're a kid. So that's ideal for her. I was actually surprised when you said it's kind of like Dark Souls, like the action. I thought it would be like more like Resident Evil 8. You know, you're walking through mansions and stuff like that.
That would be cool. That'd be cool. Or, I hope so. I hope I'm wrong, but it's just for the way it's been described and for the impression I got from watching the gameplay was this is like a Souls game. Yeah. It's like a From Software game. But hey.
Hey.
The other kind of like semi-big announcement that I was kind of intrigued about was they've announced a new controller for the PS5. It's called the DualSense Edge, and it's basically a pro controller. So it's got on the back of it,
the triggers.
It's got like a couple of wee flaps here that you can like program to be whatever buttons you want, and it's got like dials here that go up and down. I'm not sure what they do, if they're like turbo buttons or something.
I never really, I never really bothered with any of them. If you are like, what's your take?
My only mentality on it is I'm hyped to get another controller anyway because I've only got one controller. And I'm kind of like, regardless of whether I get this or not, I'm going to wait until this comes out because I'm hoping, I might be wrong about this because of what we're going to talk about in a second, but I'm hoping that when the new controller comes out, the old one might drop in price. Or this won't be too dear, but I don't think it will be. I think this will be like £100.
What? For a controller?
It's a pro controller. Aye. It might be more, mate. It might be about 120, 150. Like
that's extortionate.
I've seen them going for as much as that. Aye. Oh, aye.
Wow, I didn't know. I thought it was like 40 at least. Wow.
No, the original controller is 50. Just for a plain controller, you're £50.
Wow.
So for this, you're
for just the added buttons, it's an extra 50. Don't break it down. Bloody hell. Because I remember when we were like, it was ages ago when I was younger, when we used to play Xbox, like Call of Duty, like we used to try and be competitive. And we either used to buy like modded controllers or something like that. I never really bothered with it, but like I used to either like get like maybe sticks to make the controller a little bit better holding or something like that. But I never really saw any improvement on it.
I think back then it was a lot of like third party companies that done it, like Mad Cats and stuff. Whereas
exactly.
Now Sony and Microsoft have seen that there's money in it, and then they've started doing official versions, which is what this is. And that's why it's like £100 because the big companies have basically just took it away from small companies.
To be fair, man, it looks nice. Like
it does. That's my main thing. It looks nice, and I'm needing another controller anyway, so I'm thinking about getting this. And unless if it's like over £100, I'm not going to get it, obviously. But we'll see.
Never know. Keen Gamer might give you one to review.
I remember I could review controller. They do. I do tech reviews, so I could maybe ask for that.
But like, see Sony, like I'm really happy with what they're doing. Like, see, even though the PS5 is kind of, if you look at it design wise, it's kind of weird. There's like horns from the side of it. But like, see from Xbox, like when Xbox One got released, it was just like basically a cardboard. It looked like a cardboard box. Yeah, exactly. A horrible fridge. Aye, exactly. That looks better. But like, it shows you that now they're actually considering what things look like now. Like ages ago, everything was just in black or stuff. Now PlayStation is actually playing about with styles and stuff like that.
The one thing that pisses me off, I don't know why they can't just do this. Why can you not have a website? Because Xbox, you can do it with Xbox controllers. Why is there not a part of Sony's website you can go into and create your own controller? You can put your own colours on it.
Customization.
Like you can have an orange, side bits with a green bit in the middle and red sticks if you want. Like that would be ugly. But just for example, like you could just draw. Like remember on the old Nike website, you used to be able to go on and design your trainers,
design your shoes.
That idea, but for the controller, I mean, I would pay about £100, maybe not £100, but I'd pay like £70 or £80 for a custom painted one, like from Sony.
Yeah,
like if it was official from their website, I'd pay an extra £20 or £30 for that. But I don't know why they don't do it, because they would make a fortune. But
do you know what's disappointing me? Have they removed the colours on these controllers? So remember, like green was X or like green was triangle.
Yes.
Oh no! What have they done to my childhood? No.
Yeah, on the PS5 controller it's missing. I do again know what they will do though, again, because they know that nostalgia sells and people like me buy it. They'll sell a PS1 version of the new controller.
Oh, a grey one. Oh yeah.
Because I've got the PS4 one that's grey with the original colours of the buttons on it. So they'll do it for PS5 at some point. They'll wait until like the 25th anniversary and then they'll just drop it.
You can't.
And I'll buy it because exactly for nostalgia.
That's Did you buy just a place? Did you buy that PlayStation 1 thing? What? Remember, like a couple of years ago, they basically made like a small
the PlayStation 1 Mini. No, I didn't.
Yeah, because I was looking up on it to actually think about getting it, but when I looked at it, it didn't have Resident Evil 2 or 1 on it, and I was like, oh well, fuck that. It had Crash Bandicoot. Like I was like, yes, but I want to look.
Yeah.
But I was a side note. I thought you might have had it.
When I was that's the other side note. When I was if you're watching this, you might be able to tell I cleared my office recently. I found my PS1, the actual original PS1 console.
Still
functions because it's in a shelf. I don't know. It looks alright when you open it. It still spins. It looks alright, but I've not plugged it in. Wow. I found them all. I found the PS1, the PS2, the 360, the GameCube, the Wii.
Fuck you!
I found.
Fuck you! Got a lot.
I
never jump over to GameCube. I was just restricted with either PS2 or Xbox 360.
I was never really in the GameCube. I only got it because I had a pal that had it, and it was never. I don't know. I've never really been a Nintendo guy, to be honest.
Nah.
Nintendo have always been kind of
Oh, thank God, somebody's like me, man. Like, see, Nintendo's up in there. Like Mario's great, blah blah blah, but everybody
people love Nintendo.
People love it. It's so, and I'm like, it's the same game, just either rehashed.
I know.
Oh, it's annoying.
And listen, they sell a shit copies. Everybody in their mob buys a new Mario, the new Zelda, even though it's
it's like every 6 months.
Pokemon have literally been making the same game for the last 20 years. Like the map is the same. They've just made it like they put it in color and then they put it in 3D, and then I think they added one extra town to like the other 8 that have been there for 20 years. So it's like, how are you still buying the same game? Like people slag FIFA for being the same game every year. It's like, mate, Pokemon's the same game every. Like, what is the difference? Sorry, I'm getting.
This is random. Sorry. Reel it back in. Next topic. Are you going on to the PS? Are you leaving the PS5 news to the end? Or are you going to?
I was going to. So there's a couple more things that were showing at that thing. I'm not really getting much to say about it. Gotham Knights was showing. They showed some villains. I'll get Gotham Knights when it comes out. I guess in November.
See, that's
are you hyped for that, Chris?
That's one thing I was going to talk about. I was really. I don't know why they showed this. I was like already kind of. I was like, I'm raging about Gotham Knights anyway because it's not got Batman. I'm raging. Right. So like, I was like, don't show me the fucking boss fights.
Batman will be in it.
It better be.
He's going to be. He's not going to be dead.
No,
obviously.
No, but like, see when they showed like I was comparing it to Spider-Man with playing just the suits because I had like a plethora. Everybody had a plethora of suits to watch through. See these characters. You're going to have 4 characters, and it's going to be like, like for me, I like to get platinum and like see like I'm guessing platinum on PS5 is like everything all done.
Yeah.
Like I love to try. I'm like OCD. Like I need to try and find stuff like that on Steam. I've never really achieved it except in this Spider-Man game. I attempt to do it. But like I feel now that you need to play through the game like at least 4 times, and all those you need to pick those specific characters to get that, and that's what's annoying me the most. I was like, I don't want to play this game 4 times before it's even out. Not even if the story's good. I was like,
I was going to say, so if you don't think you can platinum a game, you'll not play it, really?
No, I would give it like
just. Is it just big games like this?
My goal is to platinum.
Yeah,
it's very rare that I get.
I kind of like. This is going to sound like I'm 14. This is deep, right? But I kind of let the platinum find me. Like I'll.
It comes.
That sounds like some. Yeah,
this is like
Zen bullshit, isn't it? But
it comes to me
listen,
in the dream.
I don't have a lot of time in my week to play games. So see when I'm playing a game, if that game is good enough that it grips me
to the commitment,
then for me, it's almost as if the game has to earn the platinum, even though it's me it's earning the platinum. The game has to earn my time to chase the platinum. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because if it's not a decent game, I'll just finish the story, done. Because I've got, like I just said, I've got a backlog. I've got Hitman. I've got Deathloop. I've got all these games. I'm not going to sit and do all the side missions in Horizon Zero Dawn. Do you know what I mean? It's like that game's not good enough for me to put that sort of commitment in.
Effort.
So yeah, they need to earn my sort of commitment. That's what I'm trying to say. Last time shown at Gamescom before we move on, Dune is getting a game, Dune Awakening.
I saw that. That looked really good.
Like, it visually does. The most annoying thing about it, cool trailer, looks cool. Dune's a cool environment and universe. It's an online MMO.
Oh
game.
No!
So yeah, I don't care if it's like some LOL World of Warcraft shit. I don't care.
I mean, fair play. Like that, they games need to be made. Fuck, but I hate them.
Well, I think it might be more like what's it called? Not Days Gone. What's that other game? Daisy. Is it Daisy? Where like it's like a survival game. You make a character and you need to survive the apocalypse.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be more that. I think that's what this is.
Oh, you encounter players as you do it.
I think you make your character, you're kind of plonked in the world, and then you need to deal with players and like sandworms and shit as you go. I think it's more that idea, but still, it's not up my street. It's not my thing. But hey,
yeah.
Sure
I mean,
some people might like it.
I mean, I power through to play. Like, see the Star Wars game that came out and it was an RPG. I don't know. It was like a
MMO
thing.
Yeah.
I powered through to play that because I'm a Star Wars fan, and I was like, I'd give it away. Like, fuck off.
It's just this is out for me. I know that folk like Danny Divers, he develops games and he loves games like that.
Oh,
fair enough.
He loves it. I take the piss out all the time. I'm like, this is shit, man. The games that you love.
people love shit like that, but I don't get it. It's never been for me.
Well, he loves 8-bit games more. Like, see, like games that are like really weird.
But Danny's the kind of guy that
Danny's a weird guy.
I'd say joke about our mate, by the way. Danny's the kind of guy that will buy a big meaty PC and then he'll play like a pure 2D pixel game.
Play
like,
Minecraft and love it.
What are you doing? He's playing like a pure dog shit game on a belter a machine, and you're like, Danny, what are you doing?
I know.
Anyway, shout out to Danny.
Hello, Danny. How you doing?
What a boy. Man. So yes,
so the next topic.
back to Horizon Zero Dawn again. We were talking about the story and how the story is probably shite. Well, guess what? It's getting a TV adaptation. So hopefully they can do something. Hopefully they can do something with it. I don't know. See the guy that created Umbrella Academy. That's not the guy from My Chemical Romance. Now it was Gerard Way and Steve Blackman. Well, Steve Blackman is doing Umbrella. No, is doing Horizon Zero Dawn for TV. It's going to be a Netflix series, and it will be based on Aloy, the same character from the game. Okay.
See, I'm not playing it. See the way I'm looking at it, it looks like an Avatar version of, instead of them being like Navi creatures, it's robots.
mate, see now that you say that, Ubisoft are making an Avatar game, and it looks extremely similar now that you say that. I never even realised that until right now. See if you watch a trailer for Ubisoft's Avatar game, it looks like a Horizon sequel. You're right. It's the same. That is a vibe. It's
the same blueprint.
It's a tribe. It's like a tribe, but it's a future. Like it's that same sort of like, we're still like cavemen, but we have like this futuristic tech. It's that same vibe as Avatar. Yeah.
How stupid are the humans in that then? If they have futuristic tech, they're still like cavemen. So we live in a cave.
It's meant to be. It's meant to be like so far in the future that like our type of humans messed up the world, to be like had a nuclear war or something and wiped ourselves out. So there's still like old like roads and stuff, but they're all like overgrown and shit. And there's still like technology that's been left over from, they call it the old world, and they're kind of restarting humanity. Like the survivors had like kids who had kids who are now like cavemen, like they're just living in huts and stuff.
Back to that, yeah.
But they've found some of the old technology that we had, and that's kind of how they made the robot dinosaurs and shit. Yeah. That's the idea.
That sounds actually. See what you've described there. That sounds like what's probably
right.
interesting.
It sounds like a cool
TV
premise.
show. Yeah.
It does. I agree. There's potential there, and hopefully they can do better with the TV show than they did with the game, because they never live up to that potential in the games. I don't think so. Hopefully they do it in the show. Another Netflix video game adaptation. When found out, I think last year, that we were getting a Bioshock movie on Netflix. It has now been announced that it's going to be directed by Francis Lawrence. Now, when I read this resume, I wasn't too hyped, to be honest. He worked on Constantine, the Keanu Reeves Constantine movie, which I didn't hate. It's fine. I Am Legend, which was okay up until the last 10 minutes, and then it's garbage when he sacrifices himself for no reason. And Hunger Games Catching Fire, which Hunger Games is just shite. So, yeah, not a great resume, but the guy writing the script worked on Logan and Blade Runner 2049, so that's a good resume. That's good
powerful. That's powerful.
Logan and Blade Runner, fine. Constantine, I Am Legend, and Catching Fire, but I hope I'm wrong. Hope it's good. I don't want to be a negative Nancy. I hope it works.
It's weird now. Like they're going in. I think now they realise, like, even Netflix are just taking maybe Bioshock. Like they worked with Resident Evil for ages, and that's not working. So let's get another
TV show. They cancelled it.
I laughed when I saw that. I was like, that must have been that shit.
I've never even watched that.
No, never. But it must have been severely bad. They must have. I don't know who greenlights Resident Evil films now. Absolutely useless.
Honestly, no idea, man.
But Bioshock was an interesting one. I mean, at least it's got the guy that worked on Logan, which was interesting.
Yeah,
but
something.
I don't know where they would go with it.
Let's move on to the one.
That was a deep sigh.
Do you know what happened there? I was trying to skip over it, but since you brought it up, I just ran the wheel of my chair over my foot, and I was trying to hide the pain. So that's what that sigh was. That was my Achilles heel being ran over by the wheel of a chair, and me being like, ugh, on the inside.
I felt that. I was like, there's no way that's about what I said.
I'm trying to be professional, ignore it. No, I just ran over my foot. So.
Oh, man.
Let's move on to the last adaptation, which we are pretty sure will be good. The Last of Us got a trailer. The Last of Us show got an actual trailer. It was in amongst HBO tease, so there was like a bit of the Game of Thrones show being shown, a bit of other stuff being shown, but we did get a look at Pedro Pascal as Joel delivering a few lines. And what did you think, Chris? I think it looks cool.
I'm really excited for it because I've not played actually The Last of Us, the game, so I'm interested to see if I would enjoy this. If I was to get a PS5, I'm looking to get like a PS4, or actually, I think Sony's actually developing these games for PC in the future, because I saw that on like coming soon. So actually, if I watch the TV show and then play the first Last of Us, compare it to see if it's hype, because I know your love for the first one. So
first game's a masterpiece.
So would you say Joel is living up to Pedro Pascal? Do you think he's a good fit?
I think so. This show online so far, it's got a lot of negativity.
Really?
People in the Last of Us Reddit, which I was in the other day,
the fans
absolutely are despising this before it's even happened. They're like, "Oh, Bella Ramsey looks nothing like Ellie." Something else like, "Oh, this is going to be like another like Last of Us 2 type situation where they just ruin the story and whatever." Right? I don't agree with that. I think this is going to be something that, okay, it might not be the exact same as the game. It might not be 100% one-to-one adaptation.
But it's in that world.
I think, for example, I think Pedro Pascal is an interesting alternate version of Joel. He won't be the exact same as the version that we've seen in the games. That's probably a good thing. Like, we don't need another big burly southern dude. Like, I'm okay with Pedro Pascal's take being a wee bit different. Bella Ramsey, she's maybe a bit more timid than Ellie. She's maybe a bit more kind of innocent looking than Ellie. But again, I don't mind that. And if she's a good enough actor, which she was good in Game of Thrones, then they'll they'll get by that. Do you know what I
mean? I thought like it's like Ellie in the beginning was very innocent, and then as it went through, so maybe that is what it is. Like she is innocent in the moment. But
I also think there's a big thing tied to the fact that the original version of Ellie was based on the likeness of Elliot Page when Elliot Page was still Ellen Page.
Right, okay.
The likeness of the character was based on that actor. So Elliot Page was going to sue Naughty Dog for using the likeness without permission.
Wow.
And they had to turn around and be like, oh no, it's based on a few different actors that we liked and we kind of, it's an amalgamation, and they had to come up with some bullshit excuse. So that's why Ellie's face kind of almost didn't get changed a great deal for the second game, but they try to make her look less like Elliot Page and more like, you know, her own character. Yeah, so it's just I think that's something to do with the fact that they've brought in Bella Ramsey because she looks nothing like the game version, so they can't be accused of copying that likeness. I don't know. I think there might be something to that side of it.
I mean, she was good in Game of Thrones. She was very convincing as the wee lord.
I love seeing her stabbing that big giant in the eye. It was great.
Yeah, like do you think it's going to? Because I know what happens in Last of Us. Is it going to jink it? See, when you say it's alternative, look, do you think it's going to go into that element of the ending? Like it's going to be Joel is still being the same path, or do you think it will change? Or
no,
I the betrayal element and stuff like that. Or
so I hope they change it for the sake of I don't want to see what I think they'll do. I think they'll do the basic outline of the first game and the basic outline of the second game eventually when they get there. Mm-hmm. I don't want to see that because I didn't like the second game. Like, see if I watch this first series and it's the exact same as the first game, I'm going to be like, oh no, they're going to do the second game, and I hate the second game story. But at the same time, you obviously want it to be faithful. So honestly, I'm quite open-minded about it. I'm happy for them to do either. Like, see if they want to stray away from it and do their own thing, as long as it's good, I'm okay with that. Or if they want to tell the brilliant story that they tell in the game, kind of scene for scene, then that's great too. Like, I'm kind of easy either way.
Do you think it's janky? Because I know, like, when people played Last of Us, it kind of was like a movie. The way that was felt, like it was a new thing. The graphics were amazing at the time.
Yeah.
Janky is going to be the same time frame, so it would be one season as one game, or do you think they could split that up? What do you think?
I reckon they'll split it up. Well, I don't know, but I hope to do, because Last of Us is a long game. The story in Last of Us is a long story, and I think if you try and put it on in one season, even if it's 12 episodes, it's not enough. So I'd say I think you could split. The game is split into 4 seasons, so it starts. Pardon me, it starts in fall, or is it fall and then winter and then spring and then summer, or does it start summer? I think it's summer, then autumn, then spring, then winter, then spring. I don't know. It goes through the 4 seasons anyway. You could literally do 4 seasons of the show based on the 4 seasons of the year,
and so that means they could add their little bits in that are different.
Yeah,
as well.
I would mean that. I would basically mean that the first 4 series of that show is the first game, but just based on the first season that we're seeing here. This is autumn, and then they do winter, and then they do spring, and do summer, and then they do The Last of Us 2. In the next whatever seasons. I don't know. I think that's how I would probably tackle it, because that way you're not going to miss anything. You're going to be able to encompass all the small nuances for the games. You're going to not miss out any characters or any, you can kind of include everything that was in the game without feeling bloated. But I've got a feeling they won't do that. I've got a feeling they will trim stuff, and they will try and. I don't know. I think 4 seasons is quite a lot to ask for one game. So for HBO, maybe I don't know. But what they'll probably do is they've probably put a certain amount in this first season. I don't know how much. Let's just say a bit of the first game, maybe not the whole game, but just like a section of it. And then they're probably just going to see how it goes and go for there. That's probably their plan. But yeah. I don't know.
Oh, I can see, like, it does, like, the Nick Offerman character. It really does look like Nick Offerman. With the guy side.
What's his name? Is it Bob? That character?
Bob.
Yeah, he's well casted. I'm looking forward to seeing Nick Offerman's version.
But like, I'm really hyped for this because I love Pedro Pascal. I mean, from Game of Thrones to Mandalorian, which you never really saw much in. Really, you heard them, but you never saw. I mean, I'm glad to, and Narcos as well. I really liked him in that. So to see him get the success he fucking deserves is
Yeah,
really
he's doing well. Good for him.
Hopefully it stays true to like what you were on, because when you describe it and you really love it, it gets me hyped to think, all right, okay, it's going to be a really good story. It's not going to be lackluster. So I'm hopefully.
I'm pumped. I hope it's good. Right,
However,
let's move on to my
juicy
rant,
topic.
my negativity. So, Chris, you're talking about getting a PS5. Well, you might need to pay a wee bit extra because even though what usually happens is these companies bring out these consoles and then 2 years, 3 years later, they drop them in price. They drop like £100 or whatever. Instead, Sony have went the other way and they've put them up.
Fucking hell.
What bothers me about this the most, like, I don't know, I wouldn't really grudge them it, because if they're putting all their time and effort into the console and the console's doing well, it's a good console and stuff, then sure, I can maybe give them a pass. But you still don't have these consoles on the shelf. You still can't just, okay, it's easier to get one now, but it's not. It's not as easy as it's still harder than it's ever been. Put it that way, to get a PlayStation console. You still need to go through a wee bit of effort. Like, okay, it's not like gold dust the way it was at the start, but it's still no. You can't just walk into like Asda and buy a PS5 the way that you could with the PS4 and the PS3. Do you know what I mean? Like, supermarkets and stuff aren't going to have these for a long time. You still need to go to a game shop, and even then, you might need to wait until whenever they're getting stock in. Do you know what I mean? It's that sort of level of difficulty. Like, it's not too hard. Like, they might tell you next Wednesday we're getting one. Right, okay, you wait till next Wednesday. Like, it's not a big issue, but you can't walk in and just buy one. That's what I'm trying to say. So the fact that they've not sorted that out, the fact that, let's be honest, there's I still don't think there's a PS5 game that I'm like, you need to get this console to play this. Because
that's exactly what I was going to come to you with. Like, what is the exclusives?
Everything that I've played on PS5, don't get me wrong, I'm glad that I've played certain games on PS5, like Miles Morales and stuff. You could play Miles Morales on PS4. You could play so much of what I've enjoyed on PS5. I'm glad I played it on that console, but I could have just caved and went, I'm not getting a PS5, I was going to play it on PS4. And okay, it might not be quite as crisp, like graphically, but
it's the same
I've still enjoyed it. Like, I still had a good experience. Like, there's nothing there that's like, this is the reason to buy it. And I think they need that.
Because how big of a gap, I'm not that knowledgeable about this, but how big of a gap was PS5 and PS4? Was it a good 5 years? Or?
Oh, aye. It was about 7 or 8 years. PS3 came out in 2013, I want to say. Sorry, PS4 came out in 2013.
Oh, right, okay.
This came out in 2020, so 7 years. 7 years.
That's the usual thing.
To be honest, that is quite long. To be honest with you, historically, like PS1 and PS2, I think there was only about 4 or 5 years, and then PS2 and PS3 again, there was only about 4 or 5 years, and then PS3 and PS4 was a huge gap. I think PS3 was 2008, and PS4 was I just say 2013? Oh, and that's only 5 years. Aye. So
because I remember getting when it was 1 year
2007, I think. Aye, so 6 years.
PS3 was 2007.
I think so.
Because I remember getting GTA 4 when that came out. When I had to get that console to play it.
One of the other ones, earliest PS3 games I remember was Spider-Man 3, the Sam Raimi movie. That tie-in game was on PS3. So round about that was about 2007. So round about that era was when PS3 came out. So quite a long time. But
do you know how much the PS5 is actually getting increased to, or have they not released that yet? Have they just said it's
no? They have. It's varying from region to region. So the places, we should have stated this as well, it hasn't been increased in America as of the time of recording. It might still happen, but for the minute, UK is not on this, but it is happening in the UK. So UK, Europe, Canada, Mexico, Asia, and Australia are all getting increases, and I think it's varying between about £30-50 up to about £200 in some regions. It depends where you are. I think for us, we are kind of lucky. Well, lucky is because we're in a Western country. Let's be honest. It's because we're in a first world country. It's because our economy's stronger. I think we're only getting, I think it's about £50. It's going up about an extra £50. So it's like the price of a game or the price of a controller, basically, is what you're losing. But yeah, like I think Mexico is one of the worst. I think it's got up like 200 like Mexican dollars, or like Asia as well. It's they're getting hit hard on us with it. So yeah, it sucks.
Is Jake, this is all connected not just to the companies, but it's all connected to the whole inflation thing the whole world's going through?
Mate, I think
or so. It's just a money grab.
At first, I was like, "Oh, maybe it's just like the thing about COVID, but you can't get chips and stuff and whatever." And I was like, "No, sack that." It's because companies. It doesn't matter who you are, whether it's like game companies or we were talking earlier about gas prices before we came on the podcast. It doesn't matter what company you are, like any big company, see when they see like the working class man struggling, they put the prices up. It's just what happens. It's the way capitalism and economy's always worked. Here I go again in my capitalism rants, but it's just they're just greedy. They're just greedy. Like, see when people are on their back, they don't give you a hand up. Instead, they whack their prices up. They've done it with petrol, they've done it with gas, and they're not doing it with games consoles. It's just the way the economy works. It sucks, but
because I remember I was in a rager when games went up to £50. They used to be like £30, and then it's just slowly, and now it's acceptable now. Like everybody's like, see when we say £50 for a game, everybody's happy with it now. It's like, what the fuck has happened here? Like, we've just accepted it now, and we're going to accept this. I'm guessing. Like, you can't say no.
I don't see. To be fair, I don't often pay £50 for a game. See, unless it's something like Cyberpunk, where it's like
brand new,
I need to get my hands on this right away. I'd usually wait for it to come down. Like like if GTA is probably the next one that I'll pay full price for. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's certain games that I'm like, right, I'm going to get that day one, and I'm going to maybe no pre-order it, but if I don't pre-order it, then I'll go into a shop and buy it. Like, I'll get it on the first day it's out, and I'll pay whatever. Like, there's certain games that I kind of like, I'm okay with that, but there's certain games that are like, I'm not going to pay £50 for, I don't know, for what games did you just talk about there?
The
probably Classic Protocol. I'll probably wait till that comes out. Like,
really?
I might even get that for review, to be honest. See, I've got that benefit that I know everybody's got.
Lucky bugger. So. I mean, I wouldn't pay Lies of P. I would not pay £50 for.
No.
I would.
Yeah, that's a good example. So in response to Sony, Microsoft came out and said that they won't be increasing the price of the Xbox consoles.
Brilliant.
Do you know what? I've always been more of a Sony guy than a Microsoft guy, but I love when the companies call each other out. Because
that is what that is. Then that is what that is.
Aye.
See, now I was giving them the benefit of the doubt for everything rising. Bastards. Sony are doing that.
Like, that's see. Although I'm saying that I side one over the other, sometimes I'm totally against like corporate loyalty, like brand loyalty.
Yeah.
You should. This is like, if you had to be asked for business advice, which I don't know why you would be. Listen here,
not recommended.
Don't never spend you right. So see, if you work full time and you go and you work hard for your money, which I don't, to be honest, I've got an easy job, right? But I know other people don't, right? People work hard for their money, right? If you're going out and grafting, don't give some company your money just because you liked something that they've done in the past. Yeah. See, just because you remember like the PS2 doesn't mean you owe Sony anything.
Yeah.
You vote with your wallet, watch trailers, and educate yourself on what will be up your street, and spend your money on that. Like, because see if you keep just funneling money into these, like Apple as well, is another big one that people just throw money at.
Yeah.
If we keep funneling money into these big companies, they're going to get away with shit like this, like increasing prices and doing what they want and being scummy and brushing all these lawsuits under the carpet, like sexual harassment or whatever's going on in their companies. Like, they're going to get away with it because people just keep, all they care about is money. See, as long as they make money, they don't give a shit about us or about their employees or about anything. All they care about is their bottom line. And by just mindlessly throwing money at them, you're fueling that. So be a smarter consumer and vote with your wallet. There's my advice for the week.
Advice corner, Daniel Buck.
So even if you and I'm right, my high horse, even if you're a Sony fan like me, screw them. Like, see if they're pulling shit like this. Nah, no. I'm not going to support that. Like,
that's.
I'm glad I got my PS5 before this happened, obviously, and it's one of the rare times that being an early adopter has paid off. Like, normally you're better waiting, but it's not the point. The point is this is a scummy move for a big company, and it shouldn't be happening. But
the fact that, like, I'm guessing, like, Sony, I'm not going to say they're no on par in Microsoft at the moment. Microsoft is huge, right? But the fact that Microsoft's a larger company and their gaming department is probably the same size as Sony. If you look at it, and they've called them out by saying, "See what you've just done there, talking shite," you know. So more props for them. More props for them.
Yeah, like totally. Like, although it's happened the other way in the past. Like, we all know what happened when the Xbox One got announced and PlayStation did the whole how you share games, and it was literally just somebody handing the game over to somebody else. Like, they take the piss at each other, and I think you need to have that. I think that's the healthy thing about having two consoles. I think if there was only one console, they would just do what they want, and it would be nobody. They need to call each other out because they're the only person big enough to do it. Does that make sense?
To justify it,
people like they don't give a shit what people as are slagging them off on small podcasts, unless it's like another big company publicly doing it. That's what really affects them. So that's why I'm glad to see Microsoft calling them out, because they should. I'm going to link another story below that I wrote about Sony PlayStation facing a potential $5 billion lawsuit. I don't know if we've got time to go into it today, but essentially it's because on the PlayStation Store, they charge, I'll briefly go through it, they charge a 30% commission on everything they sell through the PS Store. Over the last 6 years, that 30% amounts to roughly £5 million. So this lawyer, she is like a consumer rights person, Alex Neil. She's working with a law firm called Milberg London to sue Sony for $5 billion. A lot of people are poo-pooing this and throwing it out because Apple got done for this a couple of years ago, and it got thrown out in court. But the difference there is Apple's case was an American case, whereas this is a British case. So some people are saying the laws are different here, so there's a chance this could go through. Yeah, I mean, it could totally affect Sony, like, on a detrimental level. It could be nothing. We might get some money back. I think the estimation is between like 50 quid and 200 quid for each individual person, depending on how much you've bought for the store, obviously. Yeah, don't know.
But even at that, it wouldn't be money in your bank account. It'll be money in the sense of probably.
Oh, probably a store credit.
Yeah, credit.
Probably a store credit.
So you're still giving them the money.
Still giving them the money back. Yeah.
Bastards.
I know.
There was a lot of hope, but I had to stab that
out. Let's get hopeful again, right? I'll link that story below if you want any more. Chrissy, your dreams might have been answered. Apparently, Warner Brothers might have found their Kevin Feige.
I know. I did hear about this.
So. This guy Dan Lin, who is the producer of the Lego movies, the It movies, and Godzilla, could be stepping into a powerful new role at DC and taking over as a sort of creative oversight.
Oh no!
Chrissy, which
the Godzilla movies. Jeez.
Right, yeah. No, that's not.
No, I
wouldn't have mentioned that if I was him.
No, that's not a good CV, mate.
I'd have just went me Lego movies and that. Because Lego movies and that. I never made that now.
No, I don't know. I'm only here. I mean, I'm happy they've got somebody in that role. I really wanted it. I know we were talking about a couple of weeks ago. Like, could Kevin Feige come over to DC because they're treating him like shit over in Disney?
Yeah.
That was my hope, but they've found somebody. Now does that mean that I can't remember the guy that originally was the DC guy. He's left now, hasn't he? Then
yeah,
so he's now replacing. I can't remember the guy's
name.
I
think he's the new guy that they brought in. Yeah, David Zaslav is a new CEO, so I think he's appointing this guy in that position.
Over on Warner Brothers Discovery, they've been changing quite a lot of stuff at the moment. So, like, they've been slashing projects, they've been gaining projects, I think they've slashed a lot of projects, but still kept the Flash ongoing.
I know.
So
well,
I don't know
see.
what's. It could get. I know. Like I don't know if you're talking about this Dan in the future, but you're talking like Aquaman is now being pushed back.
But that's just we'll just go into that now. That's the next story. Shazam has been pushed back to March of next year, and Aquaman's been pushed back to December of next year. So Christmas Day 2023 is Aquaman. Jesus.
So maybe that means they want because they're pushing the Flash to this December. Maybe they're seeing what the backlash is of this, if there is any. You know, to then say, is it worth even pushing these movies to a halt? You know.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that Christmas piece is probably a good piece because I think the last Aquaman movie about 5 years ago got $1 billion in Christmas. So maybe that's what they're looking at. You know, they're saying, right, okay, let's get a Christmas movie and let's make the biggest budget, the biggest money we can from it.
Just go to the biggest possible one. Well, there's just one last wee bit of DC news. This is probably the bit that I'm most excited about. The Batman animated series that was confirmed.
I know.
Has been the initial story was that it was cancelled by HBO, which I sent you, and the two of us were pretty pissed off. But it has now been said that it's one of 6 animated titles that have been pulled from the HBO Max upcoming slate and will no longer be produced by the company. However, all 6 of these shows will continue production with the intention of shipping them to other studios. So it could appear on Netflix or Amazon or Paramount or somewhere else.
Yeah, I think see with the old leadership at Warner Brothers, they really were pushing the whole HBO Max. So movies went to streaming first day release. I think this new CEO kind of thing is cancelling that. So it could potentially be just on. This could be on normal network television, like what the old animated TVs could be. It could be on Netflix. I don't know on Netflix, maybe not, because it might be on Hulu. Fuck, with Prey. I know you weren't really happy with Prey, but they might take it on. Because I know Netflix are like cancelling all their animated stuff at the moment, but they're putting money into BioShock games and Resident Evil fucking
so weird.
It's fucking ridiculous. But I was like, see when you like text me that, I didn't even want to talk to you.
I'm not responding. That's dick.
I was like, you've just hurt my.
All he does is tell me bad news about Sony consoles getting up and Batman stuff being cancelled. Pass off.
Exactly. I was like, oh, this is took the bullet. I can't do this. But yeah, I'm glad that it's not. It's at least getting shopped around. You know, it's not going to be thinged. I mean, it's interesting the way you said. I never really thought it would get shoved to like Netflix and stuff, but it's a Batman animated show.
It may not be.
You know?
I'm just guessing, but it could go anywhere.
It could go anywhere, but it's produced by Tim. Oh my god, I can't remember the guy's name.
Tim Burton, Tim Sale.
No, he's
Tim.
Oh man,
Bruce Timm.
Bruce Timm. There you go, and his team.
Yeah.
So there's no way that they're not going to produce that, you know. But thank God that our initial thought was the same, that bastards. But
I know, but we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll
see if it's even good. Like
I know. Maybe upset about something shite anyway. I know that's true.
I know we're jumping to conclusions. Oh man. But what about the next bit? Are you going into the other part, or are you just?
I was just going to touch on these last few stories because we do need to wrap up soon. Umbrella Academy next season is going to be the last. I still need to watch this season, but hey, I'm glad they're wrapping up because I feel like it could. Although I like the show, it could. It's getting a bit dry. I feel like they need to sort of aim towards some sort of conclusion. So I'm glad that they're getting there. The other good news is Jeffrey Dean Morgan is joining season 4 of The Boys.
Yes,
I love him. So I can't wait to see that.
Love Jeffrey, man.
I can't wait for next season of The Boys anyway.
But also
and the
connection between Jeffrey and the Soldier Boy, because he was in Supernatural.
Both in Supernatural. He was his dad, right?
It was his dad, so it'll be like coming back around, seeing him again.
I loved him in Watchmen too, comedian.
Yeah,
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
It was good.
And the last kind of piece of news before we go is that the Star Trek movie, the next one, was going to be directed by Matt Shakman, who did WandaVision and a lot of Always Sunny and some of Game of Thrones. He is potentially being pulled across to Marvel. The rumor is that he is the man to replace John Watts in the Fantastic Four movie, so he could be directing that. Mental that the same guy that gave us Charlie Day pointing at a board going Carol could be doing Fantastic Four. Like, that's insane, but good for him because WandaVision was great, so I'm fine with it.
I mean, it's a big because he was a TV director, wasn't it, mainly? So like it's kind of a big. This could be his film debut.
Quite a change. Yeah,
so it's making him his mark in the industry. So hopefully he does a good job. I mean, WandaVision was really good. I would say that's the best TV show. I've came around now with Marvel shows. I would say that's the best impactful one.
Aye, so WandaVision is my favourite.
I don't know if he's had like a bigger deal with that. Like, I don't know if he was working. Was he co-writing that as well, or?
I think so. I'm pretty sure it was. No, I'm pretty sure he produced it, wrote some of it, and directed it. I'm pretty sure it was kind of his baby almost. Yeah.
If it's his baby, make sure get triplets with, or what's the quadruplets with Fantastic Four. Hopefully,
it is a bit a step up, I think, obviously as a director, but I think he's earned it because the guy's been working on TV for a long time, and I don't really know. I've not googled him to be fair, but I don't really know his film work. But if you can tell a good story, then you should get a big movie. I think that's kind of like a good payoff for somebody that's worked hard, and yeah, good on him.
Good on him.
Hope it's good.
I didn't even realise that, but see on the graphic you've sent, there's 3 little like circles in a diagonal line, and I'm guessing that means the 4 team members. Never really saw that. And the 4 logo.
Yeah, I've spotted that before.
I don't know if that is anything, but I was just
you'd be right. Yeah, probably. Probably, yeah. Just like a weird lens flare, but it's quite coincidental that there's 4 of them, I guess, yeah. Yeah, so we unfortunately need to wrap up there, but like I said, we're going to do a topic today anyway, so
thanks, it was just all
for joining us for episode 19, right?
Fuck.
Still about half asleep. And
you got through COVID.
I know, I didn't cough, right?
Well done, not even a cough.
Maybe once.
You survived. You're a human.
Mate, I'm still here. I'm not dead. I'm breathing at my arse, but I'm still
breathing, surviving. You're Joel 2.0.
Just, okay. I'll take it. Listen, in any universe that I'm compared to Pedro Pascal, I'm fine with that.
You're the Scottish version.
Aye. Just as charming.
Exactly. You've got the batter.
Aye. I'm having you on every week, Chris. You just see my ego. Yes. Subscribe to the channel. Check out the links below. You'll
read these articles.
You'll see the episode for last week linked below as well. That'll have the episode where it was me, Mass, and Jer talking about stuff that should have had a sequel. That was last week's episode. Stay tuned. Me and Courtney have been promising an episode of For Our Consideration on Nope since we've seen it, but we got COVID. So we will probably do an episode on both that and The Invitation since we've seen that, and probably Beast when we eventually get around to seeing it. So keep an eye on the feed for that stuff. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Subscribe. Leave us a review if you're listening on a podcast service. Leave us a review on iTunes and Spotify. Give us a thumbs up on YouTube. And share it if you really want. Tell your pals. And we'll see you next week to talk about more nonsense, because I'm sure some other
something's going to happen
about it. And even if it doesn't, Chrissy, we'll be here. Yeah. Right? That's the promise.
We can talk shit on anything.
We can spin any bullshit on this show.
I mean, this was
a topic this week, and we went for 2 hours. Like,
that's what I was going to say. We can just rank on this out. It's fine. Don't worry.
That's a talent. What can we say? It's a talent.
That's a skill. I'm putting that on my CV. But I can talk for ages.
Brilliant at talking absolute pish.
I could sell anything.
Right.
Man. Right, see you.
See you next week. Catch.
Bye-bye.